It's not a big deal, she shrugged. We're just playing video games. That's how it all started. My wife cheated, got pregnant. Now she's a single mom. We were married for 7 years before everything fell apart. She worked 2 jobs, driving Amazon Flex during the day and pulling night shifts at a nearby gas station. The pay wasn't great, but it helped. I had a full-time job and drove Uber in the evenings to keep us afloat. We were scraping by. She wasn't big on social media. Just random posts here and there. But her ex-boyfriend? He was a constant issue. We argued about him more times than I can count, but somehow always moved past it. The real problem was she had other guy friends too, not just coworkers. These were men she had history with. She'd text them nonstop, hang out with them while I was out driving late. Sometimes it was her ex, sometimes the others. I tried to tell myself people need friends, but deep down, something felt off. Then her behavior started changing. She grew distant, distracted, like her mind was always somewhere else. But here's the thing, none of the usual cheating signs were there. Her phone wasn't hidden or locked. She wasn't secretive about where she went. She didn't get defensive when I asked questions. Yet she kept spending time with these guys when I wasn't around. Worse still, sometimes they'd be at the house. I'd come home from Ubering and find one of them sitting on our couch. She'd say the same thing every time. We were just playing video games. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But something about it felt deeply wrong. I tried talking to her about it, trying not to sound like some jealous maniac. But every conversation ended the same, with her calling me paranoid and telling me to trust her. Maybe I was being unreasonable. Maybe it was my own insecurities. But the love we once had was slipping away. She was still there physically, but emotionally, she was gone. She started working longer hours. Part of it for the money, sure, but I think the rest was to avoid being home. The energy in our house had shifted. It was uncomfortable just being there. Whenever she came back from hanging out with those guys, she was glowing, upbeat, full of laughter, even humming while doing dishes. It crushed me, knowing that other men were bringing joy to my wife while I couldn't anymore. It broke something inside me. I didn't even know if anything physical was going on yet. But emotionally, she was cheating. Watching her come alive after time with them while we barely spoke at home was a slow torture. Something had to give. Every night, same pattern. I'm out driving Uber. She's hanging out with these guys. I felt like we were just roommates. Her gas station shift ended at 11 p.m. most nights, and she'd start texting someone immediately afterward. When I'd come home, I could tell someone had been there. Couch cushions moved, beer bottles in the trash, bathroom lights left on. When I asked her, she'd casually say one of her friends dropped by. She brushed it off like it was nothing. But she looked different after these visits. Happier, more alive. Then came the night I got home early. It was slow out, so I called it quits by 9. I pulled into the driveway and saw her ex's beaten-up Honda parked outside. I walked in and found them on the couch with game controllers. They looked up like deer caught in headlights. He muttered something and rushed out. She acted normal. Too normal. Like they'd rehearsed that exact scene. 3 weeks later, I got a call from Marcus, a friend I've known since the 10th grade. Solid guy. He sounded unsure, said he didn't know if he should tell me something. Just say it, I told him. He had seen my wife at the mall, holding hands with another man. Not helping each other walk. Holding hands like a couple. He followed them for a while. The guy had his arm around her waist. She was laughing, touching his shoulder, looking up at him with that same adoring look she used to give me. Marcus took pictures while they were eating. He sent them to me while we were still on the phone. Those photos shattered me. There she was, my wife, happier than I'd seen her in months, with one of those video game buddies. A guy I'd only met once or twice. In those pictures, they looked like newlyweds. Marcus kept apologizing, but it wasn't his fault. Someone had to tell me. I sat there staring at those images, refusing to believe what was right in front of me. Tried telling myself there had to be an explanation. But friends don't hold hands like that. Friends don't gaze at each other like that. She was cheating. For how long, I don't know. While I was out working late, driving drunk college kids around for extra cash, she was with him, in our home, on our couch, playing me like a fool. I didn't sleep that night. Just stared at those photos. Called in sick the next morning and started searching for divorce attorneys. I found one with solid reviews about 20 minutes away. Booked an appointment that afternoon. She was a sharp older woman, probably seen 100 cheaters come through her doors. I showed her the pictures. She barely blinked. She asked me what I wanted. I want a divorce, I said. We filed the paperwork that same week. I didn't say a word to my wife. I wanted everything ready before she even knew what was coming. I called Marcus a few days later, asked if I could borrow his truck. Told him I needed it for a few hours. He didn't ask questions, just said yes. The morning she left for her Amazon route, Marcus and I moved fast. We packed up every single thing that belonged to her. Clothes, shoes, makeup, her laptop, chargers, books, even that weird ceramic cat collection she loved. 3 truckloads. We drove to her ex's apartment, the same one I remembered from the early days when I dropped her off a couple times. Dumped everything on his front porch. Didn't ring the bell. No note. Just left it all there. On the way back, Marcus asked what was going on. I told him the truth, she was cheating. He wasn't surprised. 2 days later, she was served divorce papers at her gas station job, right in front of her coworkers and customers. She called me an hour later, screaming. Accused me of throwing our marriage away over nothing. I hung up. That evening, she showed up at the house. Found the locks changed. She banged on the door, shouting. The neighbor eventually came out and told her to leave. She did. Her stuff was already gone from her ex's porch by then. I assumed she moved in with him. Finally, no more sneaking around. She kept texting me for days. Begging, accusing, apologizing. I blocked her number. A week later, she showed up at my job. Security escorted her out. She made a scene crying in the lobby. A few days after that, her sister called. Said my wife was pregnant. Asked if I knew. I told her I didn't care. The baby wasn't mine, I was sure of that. Her sister got angry. Called me heartless. I hung up. She made her choices. Now she could live with them. Word got around. Some of her friends started hearing her side, that I'd been abusive, that I threw her out for no reason. But Marcus still had them all photos. He showed them to people who asked. The truth came out fast. The divorce went quicker than expected. No kids. Nothing worth fighting over. She didn't even show up to the final hearing. 3 months from start to finish. I walked out free. Her story didn't hold up once the pictures started circulating. Her mom still left me angry voicemails. I deleted them all. Marcus's wife showed the pictures to her friends. Within weeks, everyone knew what really happened. Last I heard, she was still living with her ex. She was visibly pregnant when I ran into her at Walmart, probably around 6 months. She saw me and turned the other way. Looked tired. Worn out. She quit the gas station job. Still doing Amazon deliveries, probably because she needed the money. I figured her boyfriend wasn't making much either. Eventually, I heard she gave birth to a baby girl. According to her sister, the child looked just like her ex. No surprise there. They didn't last. Living together with a crying baby broke whatever illusion they had. She moved out after 3 months. Now she's a single mom, working 2 jobs again, barely making rent. No husband. No support. No future. Her baby daddy disappeared. No child support. No help. She traded 7 years of marriage for a fling and ended up alone. My life. Back on track. Still have the house. Still have my jobs. Not dating yet. Just focusing on myself. Ran into her sister again about a year later. Said my ex was still struggling. Couldn't afford daycare. Barely getting by. That guy she cheated with? Gone. Funny how people like her always think the grass is greener until they're standing alone in the middle of a desert wondering what went wrong. My only regret is wasting 7 years. But I learned something valuable. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. No excuses. No second chances. Just walk away and never look back.